And Tracy Sumner with us. Tracy, it's nice to meet you. It's our first time.
I'm excited
Thanks
to
so
be
much
here.
for taking the
Thanks.
time. So we're going to go in reverse order this week. Instead of going from the beginning to the end, we're going to start with the last book that releases this week, which is Emily Murdoch's Duke's in Danger. It's book 6. And it's Put Your Best Duke Forward. I love the titles for this whole entire series.
I mean, I'm totally biased because I came up with the titles, but I love these titles. And it's actually what sparked the idea for the series. So I really love that there's these slightly tongue-in-cheek titles. And to be honest, they all match the heroes and heroines in each book. So in this one, we have Joseph Chilhome, Duke of Wintram. Bless him. He is very opinionated, very demanding, but he is a veteran and he has had an amputation just above the knee due to a terrible incident in the war. He's turned back up in England and he is miserable. And I think rightly so. He's had a huge change in his life, and all of the things that he's very accustomed to doing to relax and calm himself down are horse riding. And he's not worked out yet how he can do that when he's always off balance, he can't mount his horse, and he's just completely lost himself. His doctor recommends a horse trainer who has never failed. And so dear Joseph, my Duke of Wintram, says, well, go on, man, I bet he can't do anything about my problems. And then she turns up in breeches. And there is a bit of aggression, I think, towards both. They both think the other person's an idiot. And they're both absolutely determined that they're right. But unfortunately, Harriet, or Hattie, has some debts. Her stud farm has had huge debts because of her father, who's now sadly died, and she needs to make some money. So an agreement is made. He bets that she cannot help him, and she is determined to get him riding on a horse before the year is out. And she gets him riding in more ways than one. Read the book and you'll find out.
Oh my. So that sounds like an awful lot of fun. And I love that they both think that they're right. I think it's so much fun when neither one will back down and they have to.
Hattie was such a fun character to write because I am not a horse girl. I'm not a horse girl. I had to get in touch with horse gals and horse guys to kind of make sure that I could get as much detail in there as possible while making it easy for someone who's not a horse gal or a horse guy to enjoy it. But she knows her stuff. She is an expert. She is renowned. And there's a reason that she's recommended by, the doctor. But Joseph's a duke. He is never been disagreed with. No one's ever told him no. He's always had the money and the resources and the connections to do whatever he wants. And so there's a huge amount of sparks flying with these two people who absolutely know that they're correct and are absolutely determined to make the other person look like an idiot. And of course, they both succeed.
Well, it sounds like so much fun. And this is an incredibly long-running series, right? So we have lots more dangerous.
We have lots more out there in the world, and we have lots more to come. So this is book 6 of 12. What's really important to note is that you can drop into the series at any point. So each book is a standalone in itself. Each book has its own happily ever after, and each book you are introduced to those characters at the beginning of that book. So if you've never read anything of mine, don't worry, come on in. You're very welcome. Start with book 6. It's on offer. It's 99 cents. Please get it now because the price will go up. But you can read it all in order. And there is a very small subplot that you do see pop up in every book. So you do get an extra level of enjoyment if you read them in order, but you don't need to by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, there are 7 books out in the world, 6 out, and then 7th on pre-order, and they've got titles like Strike While the Duke is Hot and The Duke is Mightier Than the Sword, and Every Duke Has His Price. They're fun and they're joyful and they're incredibly sizzling hot. So if that's your jam, then I think this is a series for you.
That is my jam.
Well, it might be.
It is. Incredibly sizzling hot works for me. So the next book that we had to release this week is Cara Maxwell's book, and it's The Spinster's Last Stand, and it's book 3 in the Ladies' Nights series. Cara, can you tell us a little bit about that one?
So I'm sort of pitching the premise in my mind of this book as like a Regency Sound of Music.
Oh.
From the standpoint of, right, you have a hero who is a war veteran. He has lost his wife. He's very he's a veteran of Waterloo. He's used to having his way. Um, and he has no idea what to do with his children. They're unruly. They've done awful things to their governesses. He can't keep a governess. There may even be a scene with a whistle involved, right? And then you have on the other side a governess coming in who has no idea what she's doing. Ethelreda McGovern, she is a lady knight. That is her identity. She doesn't like children. She doesn't do with children. But her job, her quest is to go off and be a governess for these kids, and out why Sir George, why he is embroiled in this side plot with a French assassin, right? And so what does he know about Waterloo? What happened at Waterloo? He has some PTSD surrounding this. Like, her job is to figure out what's going on while also being a governess, and she doesn't like kids. And he's, there's going to be that scene where he tries to summon her with a whistle, and she's like, oh, heck no. And so she's wonderful. She's fierce. Red has been the heroine that keeps coming up for people, that everyone says, I can't wait to read her story. I can't wait to read her story, from the first 2 books. So she is plus size, which I love. Is try to like write that really realistically, and I just think there's like nothing hotter than a hero who is like so into her curves. And so that's really exciting. She also carries an umbrella or parasol with a sword inside of it, so that's going to be get her into trouble sometimes, right? Because she is determined to hold on to lady knight, but she's also posing as a governess. So it's lots of fun. The kids cause lots of shenanigans as kids, and ultimately they are going to find each other. And I was really in like a Sound of Music ethos for this book, and like thinking of those iconic moments from that movie that really resonated with me. Not the gazebo, and I'm just like, there's a version of that. So I really think that this book is a lot of fun, and it moves the plot along in the Lady Knights towards book 4.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like so much fun, and I love the idea of a Regency Sound of Music. I mean, because you can't have the Sound of Music too many times. That's
right.
It's perfect. And then we get one more Lady Knight. Is that right?
Yes. So the last book is The Last Refuge of a Scoundrel. It's an age gap. Silver Fox right on the cover. It's my favorite cover series. And it's going to bring all 4 Lady Knights together at the end to wrap things up. So I'm really excited for it.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. It sounds like so much fun. So, and then the last book that we had releasing this week, which was actually the first book we had releasing this week, is Tracy. I know it's a lot. It's Tracy's book.
Yeah.
Which is The Lion Who Loves Me.
This is my first time writing with Dragonblade. I've been talking to Kat for a little bit of time, and I sort of knew her back in the olden days in the trad world. And so I stepped into the Lion's Den shared world, which I had to do a lot of research, which was a lot of reading. So I read a bunch of the novellas and have some friends that write out, Alexa Aston and others that I sort of read a lot of their things too, to sort of get a feel for the world. And it was funny because I guess like when I'd finished writing for another series, and I guess like that book was kind of a little bit, like it was stressful in a way. And so when I came into this one, it was all fun for me. I used tropes I like an injured hero, a social, society gap and class distinction, I'm not a total enemies to lovers, but this definitely has a little bit of, it has that. So I went in and it was just fun for me. I, I had a great feel for the world, the Lions Den world. And for some reason, when I started writing it, Bessie Dove Lyon, who, if you guys know, if you read it or have written for it, she's kind of the connector. And I actually have her a little bit more than some books do, without creating too much of a persona for her or anything. But I do have the hero who's Griffin, and I call him Griff Beckett, and he's a Viscount. And I have him as actually her deceased husband. It's this guy is his nephew. And so it's
Oh,
kind of
cool.
a distant relationship. Yeah. And so this sort of came out. So he has seen her without the veil. And he mentions that once, just briefly, that he's seen her and that he kind of knows her and she knows him better. I don't give a lot so that it wouldn't mess up any other books, but there's a big sense of her. And I don't know, it's funny because when I was writing it, she came out uh, into the forefront for
Wow.
more than I expected her to.
Mhm.
So because she's got a really family relationship with him. So he's a Viscount, kind of a little bit. He's had some troubled past too. So there's definitely, I never write a character. I'm pretty angsty writer for
Mhm.
characters, while there's a lot of witty banter, like think the Thin Man. So I love the witty banter and I'm very steamy. So I kind of went with that. So he's a little devil may care, even with this wounded past, and of course needs someone to help him financially. And it's really a lot due to his brother, a younger brother who he's trying to take care of, who has ruined their finances, blah, blah, blah. So in steps Bessie DeVline, and because she loves him, and she never comes out and says, I love him, but he's her family, and she does. She has this woman that she has a lot of care for too, who's Wilhelmina Wright. She's not a lady, but her father helped Bessie Dove Lyon when she was trying to start the Lion's Den. So she feels also a connection to this girl, hence putting them together. Well, he misses the wedding. That's on the first page. He misses the wedding. And they don't know
No
each other
way.
well, and there's no love yet. Yeah, it's a little kidnapping situation. Then the next scene goes into him being detained by being tied to a chair in a rookery warehouse, because I love the rookery guys. Anyway, so he's detained and he feels terrible about it. And when he gets back to kind of apologizing to her, there's the wounded hero, and I bring that in, and she has to help him. And then it's a little forced proximity and witty banter ensues. But it was a lot of fun to write. I just had a review, and she said she hit it so perfectly. I don't know if you guys are going to know these, but that it was moonlighting / Remington Steele. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
oh my God, Cara, you're probably like, I have no idea what those shows are. But those were great 90s staples, and and the Thin Man too is older, much older, but a lot of banter, but I always have my characters have a passion outside their passion. Hers is she's sort of an investigator, like Mrs. Scarlet
Oh,
and the
fun.
Duke, if you guys are
Mhm.
watching.
Yeah.
Love Scarlet and the Duke. And she's kind of got that going on. And part of her reason for marrying is just so she has a husband and she can do what she wants and lives behind the scenes because she has money. Bad, low level, low blood money, but she's got money. And she's very independent and not for everyone. And that's why Bessie Dove Lyon puts them together, because she thinks she needs someone special because she's such a fierce personality, and she thinks her nephew Griff can do it. And it's Wilhelmina, Willie, and Griff. And so I like everyone to have a passion. So I have my heroines usually have some kind of employment. That's her thing. He's got a passion, and also a passion to just get his family on the straight and narrow. He's honorable, even if he's a scallywag kind of. So so it was really a lot of fun to write. And I will tell you, every novel I write is not like that. Some are, and they turn out okay, but they're grueling. This one was just fun.
Oh,
Um,
I'm so glad about that. I love it when it's like that, when it's a joy to write and not just so much work. So
Yeah, no, in the shared world, I really enjoyed. And sometimes you guys know that when we do those and you get painted into a corner and you're trying to feel it and you're having trouble. This one, I'm telling you, I felt it and I really got into the whole thing with the Bessie Double. I went rolling. So I think if people like the series, They can step right in. Everybody's personality or writing persona, the
Mhm.
voice is different. So each book is very different. Mine's steamy. I write steam, but I write a lot of, I think, known for kind of the witty dialogue and sort of crafty characters and rogues. And I like the rookery element. I always like my people. Not everyone is a lord or a lady. They're
Yeah.
they're there, but you know. So I don't know. It was really fun, and I hope people enjoy it.
Well, it sounds like it. And dude's got a lot to make up for if you missed the wedding, like on page 1. That's not an insignificant arc to conquer.
Yeah. Well, she has a soft spot for him though, because during their conversation briefly before, a week or two before this, he sort of admitted that he likes cats. And I always kind of have an animal or two in there, and she likes cats. So she knows that even though he doesn't appear to be a good guy, he's a good guy. So she's got that feeling about him. So, and then when he's in trouble, Bessie Duck Lyon says, "Can you help him?" And she's like, "Are you kidding me?" And then there's a little bit of forced proximity, and then it kind of goes from there. So it was fun. It was good.
Yeah. I know forced proximity is one of Emily's favorite things too, isn't it? Only one bed.
Only one bed. It's my favorite trope. Honestly, I'm at the point now where I write a book and I finish it and I go, did I accidentally write another only one bed book? And sometimes I have to go back and take it out because I can't have 4 books in a row with only one bed and forced proximity.
I'm second chance girl. Every book, second chance. Stop it.
I'm with you, Tracy. If I could write second chance romance every
Really,
and it's not even my favorite to read. It's just my favorite to write. I just love writing.
To read it. I will read any second chance. Give me something that sounds like The Notebook. I'm in.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the messiness of it, right? The messiness of a prior relationship.
so
like
is this a second chance meets friends to lovers? Because that's one that I like together. Like if I'm going to mash 2 tropes together, I'm like,
Yes.
second chance because we were friends once and then someone said something stupid, they didn't speak to us for 5 years, and here we are, you're the only one, and there's only one bed. See what I did there? See, it just slips right out.
always one bed.
New book right there. I love our tropes, and that's kind of cool because people have the ones they love, and like Amnesia, I can tell you, I hate Amnesia. I'm never going to write it, and I won't read it.
So I thought I hated it. I thought I was like, no, that's creepy, that's weird, like there's no consensual way to write Amnesia. And then in my Governess series, Governess Bureau, she was very annoying. She was like, no, I know this guy. And I was like, no, you don't. No, you've literally just met. All right, you've literally just met. She was like, no, we were spies together and I was in an accident. And I don't remember who he is, but he knows exactly who I am. So this guy turns up to a friend's house for a house party, and the governess there is his lost love who he thought died. And he's like, you're here. And she's like, I have no idea who you are. And
that's intriguing.
And so the book is him, but her point of view is like, why do I feel so comfortable around this guy? Why does he know like exactly what I like for tea, exactly what cake I like? Like I turn around and he's put a stool out because my ankle hurts. Why does he know this? And then he's very much like, no, don't do this. It's not appropriate. She doesn't know who you are. You're taking advantage. But he's so drawn to her, and he's so second chance. He's so obsessed about rekindling this opportunity. It's the slowest of slow burns I've ever written.
Does she ever remember?
Yes and no. So she has an accident about a third of the way through and remembers him, and it's like, you didn't come back for me. I was injured and you assumed I was died and you didn't come back for, so it really complicates things. Like this is like 110,000 word book. This series is a big book. There's only 6 in the series, but they're big because they have big subplots because it's mystery. Every governess goes to a house as a mystery. Yeah. But yeah, so she's like,
so you don't make him wait the whole book. Maybe that's the amnesia I can't take. It's like 90% of the way through before they remember, and I'm like,
like she's like, oh no, she gets a hit on the head.
And she's mad.
And then she's like, I'm mad at you. Like, you abandoned me. And he's like, no, it's not like that. Like, I assumed you'd made your way back to England, and when I got here, you weren't here. And she was like, yeah, because I got attacked and you left me for dead. So it's very angsty. It's very slow burn. It's amnesia, but it's amnesia in a way that I think is more acceptable for me as an author to write. Otherwise, it's like, is that consensual? I don't know.
Right.
See, and that has the part of second chance that I like, because I don't like the friends to lovers second chance. I like the ones, yeah, I do. I like them fine, but the ones I really like, the catnipy ones, are the ones where something bad happened. Somebody did something they shouldn't have done, or something got in the way, and they made choices that made the other person think that they weren't who they thought they were, and now they have to come back, and they've got all this stuff in the middle that has to be sorted through.
Well, and see this when I write a couple of the second chances that I write when they get together, and then they make stupid choices because they're young, and
Because they're young.
I think that's the thing that we forget, right? Writing historical romance, so often our heroes and heroines are in their early 20s, or the females are younger, and I made lots of very stupid choices when I was in that age. And so I just think it's really beautiful, right? To like see people come back, 10 years later in their 20s or 30s, and they're the people, but they've also grown and finding the things that really resonated with each other back then, and then finding the new things. I just think that's really cool. So I'm drawn to it again and again. And I can't write every book a second.
or can you?
Or can I, right?
Yeah,
Let's just write a whole
I mean,
second chance romances.
Well, like second chance, okay, like if I have to say the ones I love are more of, and I think I've done it, like I know I've done it. I Stutches for sure. I can think of multiples that it's a big brother's best friend. She loved him, and then so it's second chance in the way that one person was into the other person, and the other person just thought, oh, and I just did a spin on it in this little cute novella, Kiss the Rake Hello. And like he was in love with her, and she was 5 years older, and she was always like, oh, he's just the kid next door, Duke's brother, whatever. But yeah, I like those. I like it where one person is really, and then of course when they see them again, they're just all beautiful and grown up, and I don't know.
Oh, I love
to look at things like too.
I love the oblivious friends to lovers. I love when one of them is like gormless and not seeing it at all.
Yes.
And they're like, I like someone very close to me. I feel very close to this person. And they're like, oh, you should talk to them about it. And I'm like, yes, I should. I should talk. I love that dynamic. I had that in Always the Best Friend, which is my first Dragonblade series, where my heroines got a twin brother and it's his best friend, and so that they were always a trio as kids, and then she has to go and be a lady because her brother's a duke, so she's a lady whatever, and she's literally like at his wedding, and the guy that she loves, the best friend, is the best man, and she's a bridesmaid, and it literally opens with her being like, wouldn't it be nice if two people who really cared about each other and who knew each other really well and could just get married. Like, they don't have to be in love with each other, because that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? He's like, yeah, you know what? I should do that. And he wanders off, and she's like, no, me, I'm the one. Marry me. That's chapter 1.
Okay. So we talked about favorite tropes and things, and I think one of the things that makes tropes so powerful is the reader's expectation. Like, I know if you say second chance, what I'm going to get. I know if you say brother's best friend, what I'm going to get. I know if you say secret baby, what I'm going to get. And I like the idea. I think one of the things that we like about romance is that we know what kind of ride we're taking. Like, when you get on the ride, about where it's going to go, and the joy is in figuring out different twists and turns as you get there, and then you get to do all the emotional stuff. But we were talking a little bit earlier before we came on about covers, and I think covers are one of the things too that gives you like that reader's expectation. They tell you what you're going to get, and we love our cover designers. We love Kim Killian and Dar Albert to do our covers, and they're gorgeous. But we were talking about like old school romance covers versus new, and we're starting to see a shift towards illustrated covers in the industry. So I'm wondering if you guys have some that you particularly love, something that you're drawn to the same way you're drawn to tropes, something that for you is the catnip to your romantic heart.
I mean, if it's a setback that I stole off my mom's bookshelf in the 90s, that's What?
Yeah.
I could probably like grab like 5 of them off my shelf right now.
Yeah, we do Step Back. You guys a part of, I know Cara is, Step Back Saturday on Instagram.
Mhm.
So if you haven't done it, just this Saturday, just take a look, or even just search for the hashtag Step Back Saturday. And we post, I don't do it every Saturday, but I do it a lot. And we post step backs from that time. And I'm actually doing step backs in my entire Duchess Society series and League of Lords. And it's definitely not the same kind of thing, because the good old print stuff. I mean, but it's pretty cool, and they really look like they have something, and I'm just sort of want to promote that. But I love, like Kara's saying, the old school, like where you look at some of those from like the 80s and the 90s. Some of them are ridiculous. They're on marble stairs, they're on the back of a horse almost. I mean, it's so great. I just want us to get back to like having these covers that we like and we think represent, if we write steamy, and that then we're able to promote them and not have somebody, I've had my account banned on Facebook because of my, it's crazy.
I think what's really fascinating is that, I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up with those being the books of my mom and my grandma, and I was like, I'm just gonna borrow this dictionary. Oh, look, what are the books I picked up from the shelf? Oh, well, never mind, off I go. And so I kind of grew up with it as the previous generations. And I think what's really fascinating is that everything comes back round. Like, literally, don't throw out any of your clothes, people, because give it 10 years, it'll be fashionable again, I promise you. There are people that are kind of in their teens, in their 20s, some early 30s, who've never really seen this because their parents just happen not to read historical romance. And they're seeing these covers and they're going, on a horse, on a mountain, with thunder and lightning in the background, and somehow he lost his shirt. Sign me up for that. And I say, good for them.
Yes, when people ask what kind of books I write, depending on their age, you can tell like what they say. Is it a bodice ripper? Is it like a Fabio cover? And I once had someone actually pull out like a picture of themselves with Fabio to show me to be like this. I met Fabio, and I was like, yes, he was on every Joanna Lindsay cover I ever read.
One of the most fun things about HRR is the cover models show up, and when the boys come into the ballroom, I mean, it's just it's lovely, and they're such sweethearts. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We have the one guy that everybody keeps using. What's his name? I'm thinking Howard, but that's not it. And every time we're all using him now, and every time you use him on a cover, somebody says, "Oh, it's what's his name?" And he's on a bazillion covers. I've had Kim Killian do my covers too, and he's this guy, and they're like, "Oh yes, that's him." They all know these guys' names.
But I think there's also, like, I don't know if it was very late 90s or very early 90s, or maybe a bit of a crossover of the object. So you'd have like a feather on a rib, on like silk, and then you'd have like a mask, a courtesan mask on silk, and then you have like a fountain pen on silk. And I do wonder whether that will eventually swing back round again, because I haven't seen a lot of it. But it's really like bold, and you can use great color with those. And so I think we'll probably see those in about 5 years when people go, okay, bodice ribbons, clinch covers, we've kind of redone our doing of them. What's the next thing we want to redo? And I think object covers will probably be it.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see
something that step back a lot, right?
Sorry, Tracy?
The object covers, a lot of those had a step back though. Like, so that object, and then you opened and you got your heat on the inside. Yeah. Bettina Kron, am I pronouncing that right?
I don't know.
She had a bunch of those. Yeah, a ton of those.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. But in the meantime, we are very, very, very grateful for our cover designers, and I love every time I get the pre-order link and I get the cover and the graphic. It's always like a little extra exciting in the beginning, because I think you all see the whole series a lot faster than I do. I just get up for pre-order. So awesome. Well, ladies, it was delightful to talk to you today. I appreciate you taking the time. This is always fun to do. And Tracy, it was really nice to meet you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Welcome to the family. I feel like we should have cookie with potluck or something. Thanks for the time.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
the time to talk. And I'll pop the links for the books in the comments. If you haven't gotten them, you can get them right away. Dragonblade books are the very best deal, pre-order and release. You don't get a better deal than 99 cents for hours of entertainment. That's just, that is just the best deal there is. If you happen to miss them, you can always read them in Kindle Unlimited as well. So thanks so much, and we'll see you back here same time next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.